Tyrod Taylor Era to end as Bills need to be better at quarterback. Jacksonville, Florida, 1 year ago to the day, Tyrod Taylor did not speak to the media at the conclusion of the Bills' final game, a loss to the New York Jets at the Meadowlands, a game in which he was benched for financial reasons. That day, it seemed as if Taylor's time in Buffalo was done. No way were the Bills going to bring him back given the huge salary he was due to be owed in 2017. Yet Taylor did return, mainly because he agreed to restructure his deal, betting on himself that he could convince new coach Sean McDermott that he could become the Bills' long-term franchise quarterback. Sunday afternoon, Taylor did not talk to the press again, though for entirely different reasons, as he was officially in concussion protocol after getting his head slammed to the turf in the final minute of Buffalo's 10-3 AFC wildcard playoff loss to Jacksonville. Here's where the story diverges, because this time, I do think Taylor has played his final snap for the Bills. He did not prove to McDermott, nor general manager Brandon Beane, that he's the answer at the game's most important position, and I fully expect Buffalo to move on. Taylor wasn't the only reason why the Bills could not upset a Jaguars team that was begging to be upset, but he quarterbacked a game where the Bills scored only 3 points, during which he passed for only 134 yards. Enough has to be enough now. It's time to try something different, because 3 years of Taylor has seen the Buffalo pass offense regress from 28th to 30th and 31st this season. The Bills have changed head coaches, offensive coordinators, and receivers, and still, they're spinning their wheels in an era when you have to be able to throw the ball to win. If this is the end of Taylor in Buffalo, let me say it wasn't all terrible. He was a master at not turning the ball over, throwing only 17 interceptions as a Bill, including one Sunday. He did help the Bills end their 17-year playoff drought. And he was a dynamic athlete to watch, and on many days, his mad dashes to avoid sacks and pick up first downs were the best part of Buffalo's offense. But that just isn't a sustainable model for productive offensive football in the NFL. Sunday was essentially a microcosm of his 3 years here. He made some great plays with his legs, and he kept the Bills competitive in the game. However, he misfired far too many passes, failed to see open receivers, and on only a few plays did he throw the ball downfield, as his longest completion went for 16 yards. Taylor has been an exemplary locker room leader, a terrific young man in the community, pleasant enough in his dealings with media, and occasionally a fun player to watch. But I'm done, and so, too, should be the Bills. Here are some other thoughts. There was much excitement Halloween Day when the Bills acquired the big wide receiver in a trade from Carolina. Finally, we thought, the Bills had a big-time playmaker for Taylor to throw to. Well, it didn't quite work out. Benjamin hurt his knee in his second game with Buffalo and was never healthy the rest of the year. He played Sunday, but he was invisible, except for one of the biggest plays of the game when he was called for offensive pass interference in the end zone in the second quarter, a penalty that very likely cost the Bills a touchdown. Benjamin is having surgery soon, and the Bills desperately need to get him back 100% for 2018 because this wide receiver core is terrible, and he has to step up and be the go-to guy. Of course, the Benjamin pass interference never should have happened because the play should never have been called. The Jaguars had basically gifted the Bills a touchdown when they jumped offside on a field goal attempt, giving Buffalo first and goal at the 1. Rather than run the ball once, twice, 3 times if necessary, Rick Dennison called for a fade pass to Benjamin. Thus, he was counting on Benjamin being able to win against one of the best cornerbacks in the league, Pro Bowler Jalen Ramsey, and for Taylor, who struggles with his ball placement, to throw it accurately. Rather than, hand the ball to LaShawn McCoy. Once again, another coach overthinking things, and it cost the Bills dearly because after the penalty, they never came close to scoring a touchdown, not on that possession, or any other. It's hard to believe that this game came down to the Jaguars coach, known most during his time in Buffalo as a man averse to risk, going for the touchdown on 4th and goal from the 1 in the third quarter. When the Bills twice stuffed Leonard Fournette to bring up 4th down, I fully expected Maroney to kick the field goal. It would have given the Jaguars a 6-3 lead, and that was probably going to be enough. Turns out it would have been, because the Bills were inept on offense. Instead, Maroney went for the touchdown, and he was rewarded when Blake Bortles found it in himself to deliver one of the few accurate passes he threw all day. "Inside the one, I thought we had a good play," said Maroney. "I felt very confident in it. We make the call and we go and we score." Before we get too crazy regarding Maroney turning over a new leaf, he did punt from the Bills' 38 in the first half. For most of the week I had the sense that McCoy was going to try to play on his sprained ankle, but I didn't think he'd be effective because he wouldn't be able to make the explosive cuts that are his trademark. So, count me as surprised by how much McCoy was able to do, and while he was probably in pain, it certainly didn't show. "I'm proud of the way LeSean rose to the occasion," said Sean McDermott. "He battled in there, and it wasn't easy for him, but he put a good week in terms of getting himself ready to go." Play of the game, the only touchdown, Bortles' 1-yard pass to little-used tight end Ben Koick on 4th and goal from the 1. This came at the end of a long drive, the only one Jacksonville sustained all day, and then Koick got open over the middle with Pounds Ramon Humber trailing in coverage, unable to stop him. Ben Koick, a guy who had been targeted 7 times all season. Player of the game, McCoy. At some point, hopefully very soon, the Bills have to get him some help because he was pretty much their offense this season. Playing on a sprained ankle, he had 25 touches for 119 total yards in the losing effort. Unsung hero, Lorenzo Alexander may have played his last game for the Bills, who knows. If that was it, he went out with 10 tackles, having to play a little extra because Matt Milano was unable to play, and because the Bills played less nickel than they had in recent games. Key stat: the Bills made it into the red zone just once all day, and failed to score a touchdown despite having 1st and goal at the 1. Of course, on the flip side, the Jaguars had only 1 penetration, but the difference was that they got the touchdown. Injuries: Tyrod Taylor had to leave the game in the final minute because of a concussion. Michael Hyde twice went out with a head injury, and after the second, he went into concussion protocol. His replacement, Colt Anderson, didn't last long as he hurt his shoulder. Tre'Davious White had to leave briefly due to cramps. Majorana@Gannett.com